Welcome to UKAI Business Show. Today's episode is brought to you by World Outsourcing Solutions, helping business owners with virtual assistant services and business growth systems. Here's your host, UKAI Kachidori.
Hello and welcome to another episode of your UKAI Business Show. Today I'm very blessed to be joined by Christopher Flis, who is an accomplished financial planner and estate planner all the way from the US. Chris, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Incredible. Today we want to be talking about the critical skills that you as a business owner needs to have when it comes to your financial planning. In fact, Christopher is going to show you from his experience how you can be better prepared when running your business or launching your business or getting into something completely new. Now, Chris, for those who haven't come in contact with you or doesn't know what you do, would you share with our audience a bit about your background and how you got started?
Yeah, so my business experience started way back when I was in 1979, when I was 5 years old. My father, through several professional endeavors, finally ended up being a Burger King franchisee. So my brother and sister, grandparents, mom and dad all started a Burger King in 1979. As the business was successful ultimately, and I inherited some shares when my grandfather passed away, and then some more shares when my parents passed away a little bit prematurely about 10 years ago. So that experience throughout my life essentially has given me a lot of exposure to different business issues that affect business owners. And then as I was in the Navy for a while, and then when I left the Navy about 2 years ago, I decided to branch out on my own and start my own business. So I'm familiar with it sort of from both ends. One, a business that is established after well over 30 years, and then a business that's very new, like my own, which is only just over a year old.
Incredible. One of the things I love about, having you on the show is your experience as a business owner. Previously we were talking about how you were introduced into the restaurant industry at the age of 5. Would you share with our audience that journey and some of the things you've learned as a business owner before we jump onto the critical skills around financial planning?
Yes, no problem. So, like I said, we went to Little Rock, Arkansas when I was only 5 years old, and it was summertime, so we had nothing else to do other than help. And of course, being that young, I was very interested about all the things that went on, behind the counter in a fast food restaurant. I'd never done that before. And my parents gradually introduced me into different things, and that was more of the working part. But as I grew up, I understood more about the business part. And one big difference between being in your own business and being in the government, like I was previously, is nothing in the business world is guaranteed, and there are a lot of issues. Things change from year to year and month to month. You've got employment issues and financial issues and industry issues, and people in the fast food world are always competing to take market share from you. So I've understood how there can be good times and bad times about your own business, and it's important for people to maintain an eye towards how they're capitalized and their commitments, so that as a small business owner, you don't become sort of overstretched.
That's right. It's incredible. And you were introduced into the financial planning, after an experience of learning about the impact of compound interest. Would you share with us, what happened and, what were the steps you took on from that point?
So I was in high school, my senior year, and our principal had a financial planner come in, and she had a presentation basically called Money Magic, and she, using a magic trick, sort of explained how compound interest works. Of course, Albert Einstein said that compound interest was the eighth wonder of the world, and it really is incredible when you start young and start to save, how the power of compounding over time can really, really help out growing your net worth and your savings. Most people who show up to retirement at the age of 60 or somewhat beyond, frequently people wish that they may have more money at that time. Well, the earlier you start, the longer that your money has to grow, and that's a very, very powerful thing. So that was sort of the baseline for the financial planning. And then as I got older, I got more exposure to the stock market and other things that are involved with personal finance. And that was, and that kind of just started a lifelong, pursuit throughout my Navy years of being involved with or being very interested in personal finance and the issues that are related to it.
Incredible. And then, of course, in 1997, you took part ownership of the restaurant, which you have been for up to this very time. Would you share with us as well your journey into this?
So, again, I was always sort of involved and helped my parents out where I could. And then I went to college and started my own career in the Navy. So I was a little bit more disassociated with the business than I would have been otherwise. But then as my Navy career came down to an end and my parents passed away, my brother runs the day-to-day operations for the Burger King business. And I try to monitor things from afar and help out where I can. Now, my Navy career has taken me all over the world, from Japan to Australia to Guam. So I wasn't always as available as I otherwise would have been. But now I live in Memphis, Tennessee, and our family business is home based in Little Rock, Arkansas. So I'm only 2 hours driving away from being able to meet and talk to my brother. And we talk frequently about how the business dynamics are going on. And I try and help out as much as I can with any of the financial stuff that he may need. Some assistance or another person to talk to about some things that he's contemplating. So it's a very good arrangement. And again, he does all the day-to-day stuff, and I can kind of work on more of the strategic aspects of things.
Beautiful, incredible. And, with all this in background, you've then went on to help other business owners do their finances properly, and also maybe know exactly what struggles they're facing in generating that income, and which qualifies you, of course, in the conversation that we are having today. So thank you for joining us, really, to try and help us understand, this whole subject of financial planning. Now, Chris, for those who are totally new into the financial planning, if you were to advise them to get started the right way or the proper way, what would you say to them?
From the time that you start to earn money, it is critical that you control your income and your spending from the very beginning, and always organize your finances so that you have some money to save.
Right.
Mainly because when people get to retired years, and I can speak mainly for the U.S., people generally are undersaved, and they usually show up to retirement with less money than they want. And the way to fix that is to start saving at a very, very early age.
Incredible. In your experience working with business owners and other organizations, what is the best way that every average person can get started on, that you could share with people? Maybe people are not very, that don't seem obvious to them.
Well, I think one of the things to kind of focus on, especially for business owners, is the business is there. Some people have a dream and they want to build their business up into a great thing. Take, for example, Amazon.com. Jeff Bezos had a vision when he was younger, and now he's realizing that vision is his company has gone on to great heights. It's important to realize that outcome is by far the exception. Most business owners are doing something where they're trying to make a living off of what their either profession or hobby or something they're turning into an actual business pursuit. I think it's important for people from when they started to realize is that this business is going to finance the rest of their life in some capacity. So if there becomes an opportunity for you to take money out of the business, either through salary or salary deferrals or other retirement vehicles, I think it's important to consider that because your business is probably very fragile, especially if it's small and just kind of starting out. So, and it's always subject to disruption, and that's in every field that's out there. So, if you have an opportunity to set up some kind of a plan to either pay yourself a little bit more or set up some kind of a retirement vehicle within your business, that I think would be a very good thing to consider for most business owners.
Absolutely. For those who haven't maybe started doing this, and don't know where to get started, will they be coming to an individual like you, to advise them, or what can you suggest for them?
Well, For business owners, they may be time stretched and wanting to grow their business. Talking to a financial professional could make sense for them. If they're just getting started and they have very little funds with which to work, then Fidelity and Vanguard, those type of places in the U.S., they offer very, very good service for people who are very low asset levels, and that may be a good place to start as well. Because at the very basic thing, without getting into too much detail about the U.S. tax code, but there are many savings vehicles that are tax preferenced in the U.S. that you can take advantage of for your own benefit. So that could be a good place to start. And then as you get more mature and you have more complexity with your financial situation, then it may be time to go talk to a financial professional about how you can optimize all the different resources that you have.
Incredible. While we are on this financial planner, finding the right one, many people would say, oh, I don't know which one is the right one. And how do you choose this is the best? Because there's a lot of financial planners out there. Having done this for a long time and interacted with a lot of financial planners, are there any skills that you'd say individual or business owner are to look out for when considering a particular financial planner?
Well, one thing is I think you should look for someone who you like. Right. I'm not saying this have to be best friends with them, but someone you can interact with and talk frankly with about your financial situation. Right. That's very, very important. Experience can be a part both as a financial planner and also maybe with other experiences that they have. For example, were they in a different field that's similar to yours, and they would understand more about your situation. For example, I have a military background, so folks in the military who come to me with different issues, I've already lived that life, so I have some insights that perhaps other financial planners may not have. And I also understand the nuances of military life, deployments and those kind of things. So that's important. And then how they communicate. Do they use a lot of media? Do you like that? And then the personalization of the service. Some firms are very large, and you will have exposure to a team of people who will serve you. Some people like that. Some people don't. Other people like to have one person that they want to talk to. So basically, once you get past the likability aspect, then I think it's important to see how they're going to service you going forward, and seeing if that is something that you like. And for me, for example, I like to tell folks about the accessibility that they'll have if they work with me, meaning that when they call me on the phone, it's me answering the phone. They're not getting a touch tone menu or talking to an assistant. They're talking to me. Right. To some people that means something, and to some people that doesn't.
Absolutely. Thank you for those criteria. Now, if you're joining us, you are on Yokai Business Show, and I'm talking to Christopher Flis, who is an expert when it comes to financial planning. And we are looking at the critical skills that you can develop as a business owner that can help you with your financial planning or help you finding the right person to help you. Coming back to you, Christopher, say we've got the first thing covered. Are there any other critical skills that you would advise business owners to have when it comes to this financial planning area?
For the business owner, I think it's very important, and for anybody for that matter, to realize where their core competencies are. Right. If there's something that you're an expert at, then that's where you want to focus your time and your effort. And also you want to focus your time in places that have the highest return on investment, for you. For most people, not most, for people looking to utilize a financial planner, they're looking basically to outsource some aspect of management of a particular area that they either don't have the time or the acumen to do themselves. So I think that's important to recognize that, and what you're good at and what you're not good at, and also where your time is better spent. If you're going to pay a financial planner a certain amount of money, per year, and that frees you up to make what your fee to the planner is plus more, well, then that's a good investment of your time.
Absolutely.
For example, a business owner.
Incredible. Because oftentimes I've discovered that business owners, they have a lot of things to do. And sometimes they end up doing those things because of the deadlines that are coming up. So if you plan ahead and you get all the help that you possibly can, you'll be much more effective time-wise. Assuming we've got these two things covered, is there maybe the last thing that I've not asked you about that you really want to impress upon business owners in our audience today that they need to polish their skills on if they're to, get the best or the most out of their financial planning?
Well, for that one, I think, like I said, the working with the right team, having the right people in place that you can rely on.
Yes.
And then as far as financial planning goes, I would say just working with someone that you're confident is going to provide a good service to you. If you're in business, you're probably providing a product or a service to other people. Have the same critical eye for your financial planner that you have, your customers would have, for you. And I think if you do that and work with someone that you're comfortable with, that's going to have a good result for you.
Absolutely. And also, what kind of a mindset that one has to have when it comes to this whole financial planning or even estate planning? I know you also do estate planning, that one has to have if they're to be successful.
I think you have to realize, you have to measure your expectations. For example, in the U.S., the stock market has been essentially on a straight line up for the previous 10 years. That is not sustainable. So trying to assuming that you're going to replicate what's happened in the previous 10 years with the next 10 years is not a good assumption. Anything's possible, but it seems unlikely. So I think shaping expectations from what your planner can and can't do is probably very important, and the person you work with should be very upfront that they are what the planner can and can't do, and the planner should make them aware of that. And as also, where I always start with the folks with whom I work is you have to have a cogent and coherent estate plan, right. Especially if you're a small business owner, because if you're serving clients, they're going to expect you to be served or produced even if you are to pass away. So having a plan for both personally and succession plan professionally is very important. And that is usually not given a lot of attention by business owners because they're busy trying to grow and run their business. Much like with people on their personal finances, estate planning sometimes takes a back seat because sometimes people are uncomfortable dealing with their demise, and it takes some time to get those estate plans done. So that's an area I focus a lot of my work on initially when I start working with a brand new client.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Thank you for sharing those few things with us. And I'm sure there's a whole lot of information that you actually provide for your clients, the people that you get to work on a personalized place. Now, let's talk about you as a business owners. I know a lot of people listening are business owners, and they want to know about your experience, in running your own business, going after your goals, things that you do. So first of all, Christopher, how do you go about getting clients?
Well, that's definitely one of the scarier parts about any business, when you have to go and essentially sell yourself or your product to somebody else. I think the best thing you can do before you even start is making sure that your professional knowledge, technical knowledge is very good. And then when you speak to people about what you do, typically they're going to look for something that they don't already know or something you can do for them. And then when you speak to them, you can explain those things to them, and then you start to resonate with them from that perspective. But as far as I started off, my very first kind of exposure to the business was volunteering at a financial fair. Where I was just sitting at a table, people would come up and ask whatever questions that they wanted. And I learned very, very quickly that there is a great need for financial planning advice out there for everyone. A lot of people are not exposed to the background and are taught about personal finance as part of their formal education. So if they don't ever take the time to learn those things, then they don't understand all the different things that kind of go into it. So I found that just when you talk to talk to people. Typically for me, it's folks in the military or other business owners. You start to develop a rapport with them. And then if it makes sense and they have a need for your services, then you talk more formally about working with them professionally. Right. And then once you service your initial set of clients well, I still think that the referral network is very strong for people who deliver good service to their existing clients. And that's another source of new business for me as my practice starts to grow.
Incredible. Absolutely. Referral is the most less expensive, less costly, client getting strategy ever. In my own experience, I just have to focus on doing a good job to the one that I have, and they will tell others about the great service they're having, and the whole thing continues to grow. So it's good to hear that also from you, Christopher, you sharing, from your experience. Now I'm hoping that business owners, if you're listening, you may begin to put more emphasis on working smart, really do everything you can to service those that you have, and of course, your business.
But but the best way to be referred is to deserve to be referred.
Wow.
That's the absolute best way to be referred from folks.
Wow, I love that quotation there. I'm going to use it for myself. It's absolutely brilliant. And during those difficult times that we business owners all often go through, where you have self-doubt or maybe you're launching something, how do you get yourself to get up and keep moving forward towards your goals?
That's an interesting, because self-doubt is always there,
yes.
Especially when you spend a lot of time explaining your services to a client who chooses not to work with you for whatever reason.
Yes.
That is very difficult. But as a business owner, you have to develop thick skin, and in my world, you just have to move on to the next thing. And what I do typically is I go back to my existing clients and I start polishing up the service that I provide for them more. And then it seems like for me, sooner or later, within the next, you may go a day or two or a week of feeling kind of down. Something happens where you have some kind of new spark that will generate some new business for you. I guess it's kind of like golf. I'm just ready to quit golf, and then I hit a good shot, and all of a sudden I'm a golfer again.
Absolutely.
And there's a series of ups and downs, but it's one of those things where, and for me, the highs are more rewarding than the lows are. So that's kind of the way that I get through the self-doubt part.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Well, thank you so much. As we're coming toward the end of our time here together, Christopher, for those who wants to get in touch with you or maybe get to work with you, where can they find you?
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn, just my first and last name, and I'm happy to connect with new folks all the time on there. And then my website is stood up at www.resilientam.com, and they can go there and learn more about the services that I provide and how I do it, and some examples of stuff I do for my clients. Or if, on my LinkedIn page, people are free to call me if they'd like. And like I said, I'm always happy to meet new folks and chat about what they're trying to do.
Incredible. One of the things I admire about you, Christopher, and which I think is worth pointing out to everyone who's listening, is how you provide a very personalized approach to your clients or the people you are serving. You when people call, they get in touch with you. Of course, you've got a team of people, but when it comes to delivering your service, it's you and it's not someone else. And I think, if any listeners wants to have that kind of personalized approach, coming to you, at least, figuring out for themselves will be the best thing to do.
Correct. And like I said, I don't pretend, and no financial planner anyway should pretend to be perfect for fit for everybody. But I don't have to be perfect for everybody, because I can't service everybody. Yes. But there are, for the folks who I'm right for, I want them always to feel like they've made the right choice, and then, like I said, grow that relationship over time. Because it's only going to work well if they win and I win. It doesn't work well if it's a one-sided relationship.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Christopher, for such a great interview. And I'm sure business owners in our community and in our audience have a much clearer understanding of the necessary skills they need to develop around financial planning and additional stuff like we talk about, business, running your own business, and in a better position to do well. And we want to wish you all the success as well in your business. And I know you've got so many plans coming up for you this year.
Great. Thank you very much for the time. This was a lot of fun.
Incredible. Now, for those listening, if ever you want to get in touch, look below this audio. There will be a link to connect with Christopher. And also, should you be in need of virtual assistant, we've got a great team of people that are here to serve you, whatever that you want done. And you can visit us at www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com for more information. And with that said, I want to wish you all the best, and hopefully you've learned something and you're going to implement something in your business. Remember, nothing happens until you take action. You implement something from today's discussion. I wish you all the best, and I look forward to having you again on another show very, very soon. With that said, thank you again, Christopher, and talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.
Okay, goodbye for now.
Thank you for listening to UKAI Business Show. We will be back to bring you more episodes with success stories and advice straight from the experts. Want more? Check out www.ukaibusinessshow.com. Get your free trial of our virtual assistant service today. Just visit www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com. Quote WOS18 or send us an email at support@worldoutsourcingsolutions.com.